Hello everyone. Today I'm going to talk about a very charming and provocative message I received from a woman. She expressed her thoughts on men forging their own path, and how she found the whole concept a bit odd. This is what she said after watching some videos online. So I surfed the internet and came across mgtow. I've never seen anything like this before and the concept is new to me. Honestly, I think it's highly toxic and extremely misogynistic. I mean, who are men who decide when and if they can be with women? I believe it is her responsibility to be with a woman. How could they decide not to date women anymore? I don't think it's discriminatory because it targets women, but because men don't take responsibility. When I watch videos on the site or even read the mgtow blog, it's just the emotionless text that seems real. I appreciate their lack of outright hostility towards women. I don't think they're trying to incite hatred of women, so that's a good thing. But I just don't know why men don't want to be with women anymore. I'm just curious. I mean, I've seen similar academic papers, but with gender reversal, where they claim that men are nothing more than problem makers before seriously claiming that all women should be able to relate to other women effectively. These publications continue to claim that physical contact with men can only be violent, which is ridiculous unless we can address oppressive gender relationships. I'm not saying that women are never responsible for horrible behavior, but I do believe that these essentialist views of gender, whether directed at men or women, are destructive for both genders. I have a question. Do men who support mgtow support complete gender segregation? Do you really believe that women have all the power, which I often find totally unreasonable? What role do you think men play in dysfunctional relationships between men and women? How do you explain all the high-level people who have built their fortunes in politics and business? Do you adhere to any components of the concept of patriarchy? I don't want to change your opinion. I just want to know more. I'm just curious. This is the end of the message. Now, are we biased if we don't want to sacrifice ourselves for women and make a living independently? People who go their own way are not intentionally unfriendly, but are actively passive-aggressive. Taking the red pill will never mislead us. We can see through the fog of shadows, control and manipulation thrown at us by women, government corporations and cultural institutions, blinding us. If we could see through this fog, we would see women deliberately complicating things so that men like us will have to guide our thinking and choices for the rest of our lives. Men are now speaking out against centuries of forced slavery to us by women. We are free now. If you accuse us of misogyny, you are nothing more than a dictator because we are honest and reasonable and don't get angry at what we know. You are fascinated. If someone oppresses them like women abuse men, women will not only lose their temper, but will use the power of the state to drive men crazy in every way. It only gives us intimacy when we act, and many women have been able to control our behavior. We give boys physical intimacy, such as kitten cookies, based on appropriate behaviors the boy has already decided. As a group, you usually give back to us your love, affection and intimacy. If we take you to a dinner party, buy you the luxury handbag or any other gifts and gifts you've always wanted. If we don't, you will make our lives miserable. mgtow males admit that this is an original feature of females. This is no longer a mystery to us. Many of us have been through it long enough to realize that this is the true side of female nature. Getting upset about this is a complete waste of time. Do we get upset when our kids cry? Obviously not. Do we get angry when it rains? We obviously don't. Instead, we have a backup plan, which for us is the internet. Our knowledge is our defense because no one can tell us the truth and we share our knowledge with each other. They also claim that many authors or researchers write about men in journals and talk about men at scientific conferences. They talk about men and how they become women, and maybe women should consider being romantic with other women. In my opinion, these are women who are afraid of men. Men's ability to withstand stress and deal with everything life throws at them makes them nervous. They know what they can't have, so they don't want another woman to have it. If you've ever been to a feminist rally, you've probably noticed that there are many biomes trying to incite hatred against men in order to attract young, impressive women to flock to and take a romantic interest in them. As a man who goes his own way, we are straight men first and we don't tell men to leave women and hook up with other men. We don't try to manipulate each other like these writers do. You know the researcher you're talking about. Most of us have loved women, and for many of us, this is the hard last step in understanding that we have to let go of our love fantasies. Women use the illusion of love to make men behave like boys in adulthood. Society fears real men because they live for themselves and have no regrets. People who go their own way believe that society deliberately makes us sad and unhappy in order to make us more productive in other ways. But the truth is, when we're happy, we work harder. However, society fears our happiness. At least when it comes to physical intimacy, you think men are more than just aggressive creatures. They also claim that gender stereotypes and basic rules can be pervasively harmful to both men and women. Women are more cooperative in society. Therefore, women are more likely than men to fall victim to gender stereotypes. Men, on the other hand, have a more diverse worldview because men tend to be solitary and more autonomous. I realize that stereotypes can be harmful in some situations. However, since most men don't know the genetic center of women, they need a lot of information to understand these terms. I also use my own personal experiences, as well as the experiences of other men around me, when talking about certain women. In response to your thoughtful inquiry about mgtow, I discuss the positives and negatives that made you ask first if we support full gender segregation. While many of us are content with occasional dates and personal relationships with women, we don't want complete gender segregation. More importantly, we will not give up our lives, money or way of life in order to meet some unreasonable demands placed on us by women. They also want to know why there are so many influential people in politics and business. The solution is actually quite simple. Men build businesses, innovate and create. Women control and distribute most of the wealth and innovation that men create. Since men are the ones who invent everything, why shouldn't they benefit and be effectively in power? Facebook was founded by one man, and Google was founded by two. They were basically arguing that since men invented the steam engine, built their own businesses, and created and developed 99 other things that make life easier around the world, they should give control to women. It doesn't make much sense. Men who hoard wealth usually do this to make it easier to attract women, who, by the way, are also attracted to successful and wealthy men. Power and wealth are also means by which most people get to an end. When men lose the ability to accumulate wealth and power, they stop caring because there is no point in working for free. They also asked me what I thought about patriarchy, and in response I would say that the concept of patriarchy is used to imply that men and women must share power equally, thereby disenfranchising men. However, it is not just a question of power, it's also about accountability. Men are responsible for maintaining critical infrastructure, including buildings, factories and highways. However, women are reluctant to work in construction and road maintenance. They refuse to take responsibility. You want to be an urban planner and mentor those road workers who need repairs from the comfort and safety of your desk. Women don't fully understand what it's like to be a man until they are forced to rely entirely on themselves. Men don't give or accept gifts to each other. In other words, there are no freebies for men. When I ask friends for free help with a project, most of my friends tell me to get lost. But if I pay them, they'll be on time to get the job done. There is always a man or a white knight willing to satisfy women for free when they seduce men with their looks and charm. Men will never experience something like this because it's just a woman's prerogative. I hope this clarifies the issue of men going their own way and explains why this idea stems from the reality that men have had to deal with an unjust system for so long. That's it for today, guys. Please like the video and subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching.